And welcome back to the Network of the Future channel right here on TIA Now. In our studio is Tracy Ford. She's the director of the HetNet Forum at PCIA. That's the Wireless Infrastructure Association. The HetNet is a wireless ecosystem comprised of a variety of mobile and wireless technologies and infrastructure interoperable with macrocellular network that to provide harmonious voice and data communications. And Tracy, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me, Abe.
Thanks for being
here.
I appreciate you being here and taking time out of your busy schedule. I want to start the program talking about getting a very simple description of a heterogeneous network from you. Is it put simply a mixture of traditional large base stations and also smaller cells, and they're placed in highly dense areas with a lot of users?
I think that's it. I think it can be seen several ways. When our members were coming up with a mission statement for the HetNet Forum, we had changed our name in 2013 from the DAS Forum to the HetNet Forum to better describe what our members were actually doing, and that is it's DAS, it's small cells, it's Wi-Fi offload, it's rooftop towers, it's fiber. There's going to be unlicensed frequencies and licensed spectrum working together. So the network is not one homogeneous thing anymore. It's a network of networks. It's a variety of technologies and frequencies and members of the ecosystem all working together to really make up this network. And it really is just driven by people's demands for wireless connectivity.
Tracy, solutions for LTE HetNets or heterogeneous networks need to incorporate not only the radio access network solutions, but also the core network as well. Is this model referring to backhaul requirements for wireless networks?
Backhaul is going to be an extremely important piece of the HetNet going forward, and of small cells in particular. So is power, so are aesthetics, so are co-locatable structures. The neat thing about this introduction of small cells is that you're bringing the network closer to the end user, but again, the same challenges you face are regardless of whether it's a macro tower or a small cell or something in between, is power, backhaul, aesthetics. Right now, small cells only are designed for one wireless operator, and so that only helps one operator. It doesn't help everybody else. DASs, however, are often designed as neutral host systems where they can accommodate multiple operators. And so, when you think of a urban highway area, large pedestrian city center, how are you going to deploy the small cells to get enough backhaul and enough backhaul for each operator? Again, power is a big thing, leases to be signed. It's all going to be, the technical and business models still, I think, are evolving, and that's one of the things that's fun about the industry, frankly.
Tracy, historically, a new mobile generation has included two basic components, a mobile standard and spectrum allocation. Where are we in those two areas regarding next generation technologies like 5G?
I do not feel qualified to talk about 5G just because I'm not an engineer, and I think that standard has been is working itself out. There is no standard yet, whether you call LTE advanced, a step toward 5G remains to be seen. I'll let the 3GPP do that. Regarding spectrum is always a valuable and finite resource, and PCIA and HetNet Forum are working closely to help identify where some spectrum may be freed up and the best way to use spectrum that the FCC is looking at. We've commented on the 3.5 gigahertz initiative and are really applauding the FCC's efforts to get more spectrum into the hands of the people who want it and are demanding it, and where the need is. Wireless broadband really is changing people's lives, whether it's at work, at home. I'm home officing because I can afford to do that because I have a wireless connection. You look at the real estate industry, and I was reading something on corporate real estate, and they were talking about how more people are office sharing because, again, what wireless and wired broadband connections can, how they're impacting productivity.
Tracy, as you know, continuous spectrum is a limited resource. So how will carrier aggregation per se allow operators to bunch together spectrum in different bands and use them as one data link?
I think that's one of the big advances with LTE Advanced is I believe the number one reason that wireless operators are interested in it is because it does allow carrier aggregation and really makes the pipe fatter, reduces latency times and all of those kinds of things. 4-time MIMO is supposed to be better than 2-time MIMO. I think that they all have their challenges and opportunities.
One final question, Tracy, and this might be a tough one. Is there a cultural shift regarding who takes on the burden of providing infrastructure or wireless infrastructure to support wireless coverage and capacity? Is it still the operator, or is that burden moving towards the building owner?
It's been an interesting observation for me as director of the HetNet Forum. We've had conversations with people in the hospitality industry, the healthcare industry, commercial and corporate real estate, and large public venues. And when you talk to them, and several of them are members of the HetNet Forum for that reason, they're realizing that the wireless operator owns the spectrum. It is theirs. But what used to be just the wireless operator's problem is no longer that's no longer the case. You can talk to somebody in the hospitality industry, and the number one reason that people would consider not going back to a hotel is not the beds, it's not the prices, it's not the restaurant, it's the broadband connectivity. They expect that same connectivity that they have at home or in the office on the road. Now, that does shift the burden a little bit, where it's not just something that you can poo-poo and say it's the operator's problem. It's forcing all these different industries and the wireless operators, the neutral host providers, the systems integrators, the whole ecosystem of solving this problem. Everyone's got a stake in the ground trying to fix the problem, and it's not. It's interesting to me that we're calling it a problem, but really it is an opportunity, because whatever bandwidth needs people are given, they find a use for. And so I expect that'll continue to evolve. I joke that sometimes the DAS and small cell industry is a little bit of the wild, wild west, because nothing has been there's still an evolution involved. One business model doesn't work for everyone. One type of technology doesn't work for everybody. It's everything is another tool in the toolbox, and using all of these tools together, including the macro cell, which will continue to be a very important part of the network, and it's not the most important part of it is the most important part of the network. It's shifting business models, it's bringing new players into the game, it's bringing stakeholders who used to not think it was their problem suddenly realizing that it's important to their business as well.
Tracy, thanks so much for allowing TI Now to start this discussion on the air anyway about HetNets. That's an important discussion to have, and I think that discussion will also evolve. By the way, right through our TIA's annual conference, the Network of the Future, I'm not sure if you're able to make it down to Dallas for that. Is that so?
I'm actually moderating a panel on June 4th on DAS and small cells. It'll be a roundtable discussion, and I'm looking forward to it.
Well, we are looking forward to that as well, and TI and I would love to have you on the desk as well if you have some time while you're down there.
Thank you.
And Tracy, thanks again. And to our audience, thanks again for watching TI Now's Network of the Future channel. And if you haven't registered yet for TIA's annual conference in Dallas, that on June 3rd through 5th, please go to TIA2014.org and click on Register Now. So long.